Cosmetic Surgery Live continues tonight at 11:15 with more treatments we bet you didn't even know existed. And tonight we meet the man who underwent surgery after he lost a bet and ended up with more up front than most of us ladies would hope for. Next, 5 News and Sports.
Better Dash got a table booked at the Serengeti Cafe. Good job the jolly old Nashers are in tip-top condition. Stared in 3 minutes. Sponsors of the 5 afternoon movie.
I'm bored. What are we gonna do today?
Feeling kinda weary, got to work the next day.
An hour and a half late.
Need a bit of comfort, so you get a takeaway. Stuck here on the sofa.
Great.
Think you're going down with the flu.
Hasn't anybody noticed I'm sick and miserable here?
So how was your weekend?
Got the Sunday blues, and you don't know what to do.
As long as it doesn't affect the show.
I think I can make you happy.
So you turn on the TV and you crack a smile. The weekend may be over, but now you're alive. No more Sunday blues. Comedy Hour tonight from 8 on 5.
It feels good to laugh.
Now at 6:10, today's top stories and a roundup of today's sporting action.
Backing ID cards, Britain's top cop is criticised for getting political. Basking in glory, the sun shines on Paula as she wins the London Marathon. And Manchester United book their place in the FA Cup final. Good evening, I'm Steve Dixon. Britain's top police officer has been criticised for wading into the debate over ID cards. Sir Ian Blair said the scheme should be given more consideration and called for new laws to combat terror. Civil rights campaigners have reacted angrily, saying the police commissioner should keep out of politics, as 5's Martin Popplewell reports.
Sir Ian Blair today reiterated the stark warning that perhaps 200 trained terrorists are walking the streets of London. He thinks changes in the law are needed to convict terrorists.
I think we're going to have to just look again to see whether there are some other legislation around acts preparatory to terrorism or something of that nature.
His comments come after the Ricin plotter Kamel Borgas was jailed for life. He was found guilty of murdering a police officer and received a further 17 years after the police discovered a plan to try and poison large numbers of people. But the civil rights group Liberty say Sir Ian's comments are badly timed.
My biggest concern is that there is just a hint of the possibility of a very senior police officer attempting to influence the outcome of a general election. And that is not how we do things in this country.
Sir Ian also spoke out in favour of ID cards, saying they need further consideration to stop identity fraud. Labour plans to introduce ID cards were abandoned when the election was called, but the party says reintroducing the legislation will be an early priority if they return to power. The Liberal Democrats oppose ID cards on civil liberty grounds, saying they infringe people's privacy. Meanwhile, the Conservatives have promised to review the idea if elected. Scotland Yard say that Sir Ian was merely answering a question as a serving officer on an important issue. They say they understand that we're in the middle of an election campaign, but they say that Sir Ian remains impartial and isn't restricted by the normal rules governing senior civil servants. Martin Popplewell, 5 News, New Scotland Yard.
Well, on the campaign trail today, the Conservatives have been explaining what they'll do with half of their promised £4 billion worth of tax cuts. Michael Howard said the party would offer tax breaks on pensions, promising to put in £10 for every £100 people save for their retirement. Well, Labour hit back at Conservative pension plans, accusing Michael Howard of promising something he couldn't deliver and calling the party's proposed tax cuts unaffordable. There's been more bad news for British workers today, as the Littlewoods Group has announced it's cutting 3,200 jobs by closing 126 of its index catalogue outlets. It follows the recent collapse of the department store Alders and the closure of the gadget shop. Paula Radcliffe has run and puffed her way to a third London Marathon title. She clocked a time of 2 hours, 17 minutes and 41 seconds, 5 minutes ahead of her nearest rival. And that's despite having to make a rather unexpected pit stop along the route.
They are lined up along Greenwich Park.
A record 36,017 runners took part in this year's London Marathon, but you'd be forgiven for thinking that this year's race was all about one woman. The women's event, the first major start of the day, and within a few minutes it was obvious that Paula Radcliffe was going to make her mark. And when I say making a mark, this probably wasn't what most people were expecting. However, unlike Athens, this stop didn't mean the end of the race. And even with that comfort break, the Britons set a relentless pace, winning her third London Marathon title in 2 hours, 17 minutes and 42 seconds, a full 5 minutes ahead of her closest rival.
I think I've got to apologise to the nation for having to stop like that, but I was losing 10 seconds every time my stomach was cramping, so I just thought, I'm going to have to stop.
But this is what the London Marathon is really about, ordinary people pushing themselves in ways they didn't think possible.
Really over the moon. I'm 3 minutes quicker than I wanted to, my first ever marathons.
First London.
I'm ecstatic. It's been a long, hard winter and it's paid off.
Well done, lady.
Cheers.
That atmosphere was amazing. What a great way to show off London ahead of hopefully landing the bid for the 2012 Olympics. Phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. My 6th one, in fact. And it's just getting better and better.
The wheelchair events are won by Saul Mendoza and Francesca Portolato, with the men's title going to Kenyan Martin Lell. But as morning turned into afternoon, the real heroes were still making their way round, some of them having a well-deserved rest. I don't blame him. Rahul Pathak at the London Marathon, 5 News.
Football, and Man United will meet Arsenal in the final of the FA Cup. United beat Newcastle 4-1 in Cardiff this afternoon to remain on course for a 12th FA Cup title. 5's James Pratt. Watch the action.
With 41 semi-final appearances between them, Manchester United and Newcastle have considerable FA Cup pedigree. Holders Man United were heavy favourites to reach the final for a 17th time, and they lived up to the billing. Cristiano Ronaldo's cross picked out Ruud van Nistelrooy for the opening goal. The Portuguese winger then supplied Paul Scholes with a half chance, 2-0. Sir Alex's men have never lost to Newcastle in the FA Cup, and they extended their lead. 3-0 came courtesy of Van Nistelrooy's second of the afternoon. A minute later, Shola Amiobi put Newcastle on the score sheet, the first goal that Man United have conceded in the FA Cup this season. That pleased the Newcastle contingent of the 70,000 crowd, but not for long. Ronaldo's hard work deserved a goal, and he got it to quell the black and white fight back. 4-1 the final score. Arsenal stand between Man United and a record 12th FA Cup. James Pratt, 5 News.
Sunderland looks set for a return to the Premiership after picking up a point from fellow promotion hopefuls Ipswich. Sunderland led at Portman Road until the last minute when Darren Bent equalised for Ipswich. The 2-2 draw keeps Ipswich third, while Sunderland are now 3 points clear at the top of the Championship. The Scottish League title could come down to next week's Old Firm clash. This afternoon, Rangers beat Dunfermline 1-0 to reduce Celtic's lead to just 2 points. The top two meet at Ibrox on Sunday. Now, stars of the small screen are arriving for this evening's TV BAFTAs. The cast of Coronation Street are hoping to walk away with the gong for Best Continuing Drama, while comedy series Little Britain has been nominated for 2 awards. Well, 5's Emma Brown is there now, keeping a sharp eye on the red carpet for us. And Emma, spotted any big names so far tonight?
Lots and lots of big names. It's been really exciting over the past hour, with everyone basically who's anyone in television arriving. We've had people in the comedy side of things. We have Matt Lucas and David Walliams, as you said, from Little Britain. We've also had a lot of the stars from Coronation Street, from The Bill. We've had a few stars from EastEnders. Also, on the more serious side, we've had Brenda Blethyn, who is up for a BAFTA for Best Actress in the ITV drama Belonging. So very, very exciting. There's 400 magnums of champagne on ice in the Theatre Royal tonight, and I think there's probably going to be quite a few sore heads in the morning.
Well, Emma, thanks very much indeed. Now, in a moment, Joe's going to be here with the weather, but first, a reminder of tonight's top stories. And Britain's top police officer has been criticised for wading into the political debate on ID cards. Sir Ian Blair called for more consideration of the scheme, and he also called for a new law to combat terrorist conspiracies. And Paula Radcliffe has won her third London Marathon in one of the fastest times ever recorded. Well, that's all for now. I'm back with more news at 9. I'll see you then.
Five Weather, in association with Birdseye.
Hello there, I'm Jo Wheeler with tonight's weather. We've had a real east-west divide today, with eastern parts seeing the best of the sunshine and wet and windy weather spreading across western areas. As we go through this evening and overnight, the worst of that wet weather transfers over to the eastern side of the country, and that's going to leave us with much clearer skies over Ireland, parts of Wales and the southwest. Now, this improving weather is clearer weather, but it's also going to bring with it some showers. Some of those showers are likely to be heavy and thundery. And indeed, for Ireland, it could well be a very chilly start to the day, with a touch of frost here and there. Now, through the rest of tomorrow, we'll find that the rain pushes its way into these eastern areas, eastern parts of Scotland, down through Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, East Anglia, clipping into Kent there, and an improvement for just about everywhere else, with brighter skies and a mixture of showers. Temperatures probably up to around 13-14 degrees Celsius. That's around 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, unfortunately, this rain area doesn't disappear completely. It comes back across the country, and the amount of rain it gives could lead to some localised flooding.
Birdseye Food, in association with the weather.
Get daily weather forecasts for your area sent directly to your mobile by signing up for Five's weather service. To sign up, text the word weather followed by a space and the first part of your postcode to 82100.
If you're sick of looking at the same dreary four walls, don't panic. The house doctor's here to help.
But I'm a lampshade.
No, it looks like a bed set. Quite frankly, it's horrible. I think it's a depressing room. Like I care?
Don't forget it.
This is a sweet moment.
It's just a silly phase I'm going through.
We don't care about your character. We don't care about your personality. This is my life. That is a very sad comment.
You might not love her, but we all need a little Anne Maurice in our lives. House Doctor and Britain's Worst DIYer from 8 o'clock Friday on 5.
And now a party election broadcast on behalf of the Liberal Democrats Party.
Would you buy a used car from this government? Can you afford to believe Labour promises? After all, last time they promised not to charge top-up fees for students, but then they did just that.
Well, what's a few £1,000s of debt over a lifetime?
They said pensioners would share in the increasing wealth of the nation, but they are actually falling further and further behind.
Not many buy from us anymore.
They said we'd all have access to NHS dentists, but fewer than half of us do.
Well, an apple a day, as they say.
And worst of all, they went to war because they said Iraq was developing weapons of mass destruction. And now everyone knows those weapons didn't exist.
I've got a full set of reports on this car. You can trust them, honest.
But can you trust the Conservatives either? They just went along with the government on Iraq without asking any difficult questions. In fact, they would have done what George Bush wanted as well.
We have a special 45-minute claim on this model.
Their claims on tax simply aren't roadworthy. They say they will cut your tax and improve your services at the same time, but it can't be done. Remember what happened last time they were in government?
Trust me, you can't have something for nothing. Honest.
And they keep changing their leader. But underneath, people know they are the same old party that let this country down so badly last time.
But it is really low mileage. None of them got out that much.
Luckily, there is another better choice. Let's hear what the experts say about them.
The Liberal Democrats were against the war in Iraq. They were the only party with the courage to oppose this government, and they've been proved right.
The Liberal Democrats want to see illnesses diagnosed and treated much more quickly. That means fewer targets set down by central government and more say for local people, doctors and nurses.
The Liberal Democrats will scrap tuition fees and top-up fees because they're an unfair burden on students and their families, and they will deter thousands from going to university.
Policies we can afford. Policies that have been properly costed. Policies that will really work. Now, that's what the Liberal Democrats are offering. And that's why more and more people are saying they'll vote Liberal Democrat. Since the last election, we've won more seats than any other party. Do you really want 5 more years of this discredited Labour government? The only real alternative is the Liberal Democrats.
That was a party election broadcast on behalf of the Liberal Democrats Party.
Nobody had ever seen anything like this.
For his age, to have an 8-pack, not even just a 6-pack, is totally incredible.
If I could speak to the boy's mother, I would ask her if she really fully did the research to understand what she's doing to this child.
The World's Strongest Boy, 10:05, Friday on 5.
Come on, mate, mate.
Reactions lenses react to light. So whatever you're doing, you only need one pair of glasses instead of 2.
Can you please give me the sun cream?
And now at Specsavers, Reactions lenses are free. Should you have gone to Specsavers?
Have you tried Colour Expert from L'Oreal? Now voted Hair Colour of the Year 2005. It's the first at-home colour plus highlights in one that's truly multi-tonal. First, beautiful all-over base colour goes on. Then you enhance it with harmonised highlights, just where you want them.
It's like 1, 2, easy, and it's done.
It doesn't dry out your hair, and the wand, this thing is great.
It's not the kind of colour that you've ever really been able to get on your own before.
Get Expert multi-tonal hair colour at home. Colour Expert from L'Oreal Paris. Now voted Product of the Year. To keep that colour you love truer for longer, the worldwide #1 for hair colour recommends L'Oreal Elvive Colour Protect.
Because the world isn't this perfect, you need a cleaner that is. New Sif Power Cream Bathroom Spray removes grime, soap scum, and even line scale. It's the perfect cleaner for an imperfect world.
Oh, who the hecky-pecky is this? Kim Cattrall!
Hello, Auntie.
You come for a cup of tea? How was your flight, love?
Well, the first officer was a dreamboat. Oh, Auntie, why can't I find the right man?
Right, well, I'm here to help you, Kim. Let's practice on these new Tetley teas, shall we? Now, the sweet cranberry, chamomile smile. Now, that helps you sleep. Mind you, you don't waste much time sleeping, do you, love?
I must say, this Earl Grey is very impressive.
Don't do that, Kim. There you go. Love at first sight.
Citroën C4, alive with technology, from 9995.
I'm bored. What are we gonna do today?
Feeling kinda weary, got to work the next day.
An hour and a half late.
Need a bit of comfort, so you get a takeaway. Stuck here on the sofa. Think you're going down with the flu.
Hasn't anybody noticed I'm sick and miserable here?
So how was your weekend?
Got the Sunday blues, and you don't know what to do.
As long as it doesn't affect the show.
I think I can make you happy.
So you turn on the TV and you crack a smile. The weekend may be over, but now you're alive. No more Sunday blues. Comedy Hour, tonight from 8 on 5.
It feels good to laugh.
Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves star in the action thriller Point Break tonight at 9. But first on 5, lots of laughs for your Sunday. Joey and 3.5 Men on the way from 8. But first, they're back in training at the Police Academy, which has been given a guidance rating as it contains scenes that some parents may find unsuitable for children.